Thank you for joining another session today of the day 2 of the 4-day online curriculum. My name is Shin Liang. I'll be your host for the day. I'm also a trainer here in the seller education team. All right, so today we're going to talk about listing, troubleshoot your listing, some of the issues that you might face, after you get an account and you want to start to put on your listing on what you want to sell on Amazon. Okay, some important notice. All right, so some administrative stuff. So like I mentioned earlier on, you can subscribe to our official YouTube channel. So there is a playlist just for me to upload, all the past live webinar in a chronological order, so that you can look at the most updated one, which is usually on top, and then you go down further to look at the one that it's already over. So if you have any questions, you can put on the question box, the live questions. And then yesterday, the day one, I've actually gone through one page of question that I received from the sign up. Right, there is still like about 2 pages of questions that I will go through the rest today. And then if I cannot finish those, then I will continue tomorrow. But I will also answer all the ones that's on live today. So last but not least, if you are watching this recording, because we do have recording down the road, I will always encourage you to always look for the most latest videos of the same topic, or you can always go to Seller University or the Seller Central Help for the most updated information. Right, this is just a short introduction of the team I'm in, the Seller Education team. So we have a variety of the learning programs. So one of it is the Seller University, where we have a lot of short forms, contents, and also a lot of different modules on the Seller Central. And then they keep tracks of your learning as well. And the other one, which is the one that you're attending right now, which is the Amazon Live webinar, where you get to interact with me and other speakers that we usually will invite them live through the webinar session, and also get your question addressed before we end the webinar. All right, so this is something I shared yesterday. For those of you who just signed up to this class, or rather to this session today, or you have not attended the one yesterday, I just want to share again that we have an ongoing promotional fee, all right, for this professional selling plan. So for USD $1 right now, you can get access to the professional selling plan for a total of 6 months. Right, so for the very first month, you would pay USD $1, and then you get access for the other 5 months, which in total you get 6 months of access to the professional selling plan. And then if without the fee promotions, it will be $39.99 USD per month. Right, so this promotion is only until September 30th this year. Right, so there's a few more months to go, so do take advantage of these promotions. So with this professional selling plan, you get access to brand building tools such as the A plus content, brand stores, all right, and then product opportunity explorer to help you do your product research, and you're able to run Amazon ads, etc. So all the tools available in the professional selling plan will help to improve your listing, get a better branding for your products, etc. on Amazon. And also we have a new seller incentive as well for those on professional selling plan. Right, so in today's session, we will learn about listing. So this is the agenda. This is a full agenda in the workbook, right? The links are in the sign up page. You can see you can download the individual workbook for each day, and these are the agenda, or rather all the content that is in the workbook. Right, I won't have the time to cover every single one, but I will focus on the things which I think is more important for you, and then the rest of it you can actually download the workbook and then go through it on your own. All right, so these are the listing checklist. All right, it's similar to the checklist I shared yesterday regarding on what kind of product you should select in mind to sell. All right, so these are the checklists regarding the listing and what you can do. Things like study your reviews and ratings of similar products. So this one you can do it easily using the product opportunity explorer tool, right, to find the reviews of your product that you want to sell, your competitor product, etc. And then also try to find product that are easier to ship and pack, all right, things that are not so fragile in that sense. And then you need to understand that for listing, there are certain restrictions. All right, this is more like a recap of yesterday. There are certain restrictions, certain products that you will need, like requirements, like if you're selling food items, you need the FDA requirements, or if you're selling product that is targeted for children, you need to have the CPC certification, etc. Right, so what makes a good listing? I'm going to show you what are the critical elements of a listing. All right. First of all, is definitely the title. But this is the first thing that your customers will actually see right when they search for things that they want on Amazon. Right, so a good title is very important, right? And especially so, we recommend to include your brand if you're a brand owner, right? And then the other things that is to be on the title will be things like what is the unique characteristic of your product, some other search term or models or product features. Where you can see this example over here. But the next thing is the product image. Right, this is very important because it's the only, or rather, the main image is the one that your customer will see when they look at the search results. So having a very good, attractive main image is very important to get more eyeballs, get more clicks, to let them to go into your product details page. And of course, you can add on alternative images after having a main product image, right? That is to complement, your product, to showcase different scenario of perhaps how your product can be used. Right, the third one that you can see is a bullet point. Right, these are the I would say the key feature you want to convey to your customers. What is the advantage of using your product? What is the unique feature that is different from what they usually seen? Right, and the other part in the listing will be the product description. So after you scroll down, or rather, when you go to Amazon and do your own online shopping, you can see that those I mentioned earlier on are the ones that you usually see when you landed on the product listing page. And after that, that keeps you, excited of this product, and then you will scroll down a little bit to actually show and look at what are the product description, and then you can add in more details. So like what you see here, you can see that it's very graphically nice. Right, there's a lot of the color images and etc. that is relevant to the target audience. So this is only doable if you are brand enrolled in the Amazon brand registry. As a brand owner, you'll be able to unlock this listing feature, which is the A plus content. Or you can put in rich graphics, you can put in videos as well to showcase your product. So you'll know that some product may have the variations, right? So it's good to understand whether or not your product can add in the variation in the listing, because this helps to keep your customer in the same listing page without having to go to another page just to look at another variant, right? So this is just a example. You can see like typically selling of the clothings, you have different variations for the different colors, right? Or if your product has no variation, that's also fine. It's, most product may not have variation, then they'll be like without variation, right? So there are different types of variation you can add on depending on the product category, right? You may see different options in the um, product listing configuration part where you put in your listing info, or depending on the category, you may see different option for you to put what kind of the product variants that you can put it there. All right. So double variation is something like, let me just show you. Alright, double variation is something like that, right? You have a size, and then each size has a different color as well. So this is like a double variation. Alright. Right, so these are the more commonly one, like single variation. Alright, for the same product, you have different colors, right, or different scent, different flavors, that kind of stuff. All right, so I'm gonna just do a quick sharing of this, right? Having read this, right? Can you tell which variation is not a valid one? Right, so to recap, right, variation is also known as a parent child relationship. They are a set of product related to one another. Right, so make sure you have a good variation relationship because this allow your buyer to compare and choose accordingly depend on the product attribute like size, color, etc. Right, so based on these two, right, can you tell which one is not a valid variation? Can let me know in the question box. So first one you see cell phone charging cable and a portable charger can be used as a set. So are they considered a valid variation? Right, same for the second one. Right, two bags with the same color, similar function. Right, one with a strap, the other one perhaps have a shorter strap. So are they considered a valid variation? What do you think? All right, let me see if anybody participate in this. You can let me know in the question box. No. All right, I'm just going to review this. So the answer for these two is no, they are not considered a valid variation. All right, the first one is they're actually different products. Same for the second one. All right. All right, I think you probably know how variation works. Looking at the first two example, this is just another three more example just to get you some understand what constitute a valid variations. Okay, let me just zoom in quickly for you to see. All right, this is the tableware. Right, so by seller, there's a set like a salad plate, service plate, a cup, etc. Right, so are they considered a valid variation? All right, so the last one is this. Oh, interesting. Anti-loss rope. Okay. Same function, different animal style, different color. Right, again, these are all not valid variations. Right. So the reason I mentioned there, right? So the one on the number five should be considered more like a um, double variation by different style and color. So just a recap on why the variation could not be created in the above cases. Right, so again, if you are creating those invalid variation during your listing may be suppressed as well. Right, there are checks on the backend also to ensure that the variation relationship is correct as well. Right, so you can see for the different like case one and three, right, they are considered different product. Then the other one on the second case, they are actually different design. Right, for case four is actually the invalid values in the variation attributes. And then the last one, which is the one with the children child loss kind of strap, right? That one is considered inapplicable. You need to create a double variation for that actually. All right, so there are some tips here just to share with you. All right. So take in mind all this information when you're trying to create a variation, right? To let you know whether or not are they considered the same product that you can create variation or are they not. All right. And then the one below is to share that every category, some of it support variation and some of it does not. So again, during the listing creation, right? Actually, when you create a listing, whether or not you can create variation or not during the before you even submit the listing, you can actually tell already. Alright, so in the event that you can't remember these, and I don't expect people to remember this, is when you try to create your listing that time, you'll be able to tell whether or not that category can support. And then if you realize that it cannot support, then you might want to look for the Seller Central help to see which are the exact category that you can support the variation that you think is a valid one. Alright, these are just some examples of a good variation which you've probably seen earlier on. Alright, so next I'm going to share with you perhaps a quick demo on the steps to create a listing, and then also I will share with you on where you can find a listing quality dashboard. Okay, let me quickly switch to the screen. Okay, I just share my screen, my browser. I'm not sure if you can see. Let me zoom in a little. If you can't see, you can also try to zoom in on your end. Okay. All right. Okay, so to create a listing, I'm gonna do just a quick demo. I hope that it works here because it's my test account. Right, you can go to the catalog on the menu here, right, and then you go to add product. Right, few options here. Right, if you are listing an existing product that's already in the catalog, right, you can search for the product ASIN. All right, now again, this one you can search for it and list it doesn't mean you can sell it, or it may be subject to approval from the respective brand or the ASIN, right? Unless the ASIN that you're selling is actually a generic product, then you may not be subject to the approval requirement, right? If you're selling certain product that is an existing brand in Amazon's catalog, then you will need to be asked to provide the approval documents, right? Right, so this is a new feature, right? Search multiple product, or you can play around with it, but I will share with you this one. So there's a few options, right? If you're adding a product not sold on Amazon, it's something new, where you can choose this one. You can also upload a file to add multiple product. Let's say if you are, you have existing listing in some other website, you manage to export it and then put it into a file format that the upload feature allows you, and then you can upload it one shot without having to create it one by one. Okay, I'll just show you if you are going to add something that is new, right? Where you can type in, what you are selling, the name. So there's a new feature. This one you can try it out also, right? So this is generate content for title, description, and bullet points from a short input. Right, I think this has some AI in it. Let me try. Okay, I don't know how will it turn out, but let's try, and you can still edit it after that. All right. Oh, let me see what is a decision whether to use. Okay, let me just put something. So yesterday I think we talked about water bottle, right? So maybe I'll just put something here. Um, water, water. What other things I can put here? Portable. Okay, let me see. I don't know. Okay, let's see. There's a way to upload image if you have your own image. Okay, let's see what it will generate for me. Okay, seems like this is a good start. Okay, let's assume this is correct. I think little might be spelled wrongly, right? Certain um, US or UK. Okay, I'm just gonna update it. Alright, so assuming I'm just gonna sell something like what? Portable insulated water bottle, thermal, thermal, what do you call? Oh, okay lah, just do it. Okay, then assuming this is something, am I selling this one? Let me see. What is submit that? Okay, I think you can select other type if you think that type is incorrect. Okay. Alright. So let's see. Is there something from bottom? Okay, let's assume this is the one. Right, so this is the part I was telling you, whether or not this product has variation. Right, do you want to put like, for example, this border category? If your product is different variation like this, it will let you select, is it a size or something like that. Right, then you'll be able to put the variation info. Right, if not, right, to make it simple, I'm just going to click no variation. Alright, so this is the part. If your product doesn't have a brand name, you can put generic. Right. So I would suggest if you have a brand name or you're planning to sell long term, then it's best to get a trademark. Because if it's a generic product that you're selling, so people could possibly be selling the same product as you, and there's nothing you can do about that because there's no protection or whatsoever. Right. Okay. And then you need to have a product ID if your product category needs a product ID. Right. So again, in Seller Center, you can search. There's a product UPC product category requirement on which product category needs ID. Right, then you can tell whether or not that product needs the ID. Typically, like private label products, you do not need a ID. Right. So in the event if you really do need, you will need to get you need to buy one from the GS1. Right. So just press next. Right, you can see, I think I use this generate listing container, so they actually help me put down a lot of info. Again, don't take these generated things blindly. Again, they may not be the one that knows your product well. I think it's good to have a good draft of what your product is. All right, so read it through whether it makes sense or not, right, and then make the changes accordingly. I'm gonna assume this makes sense. Okay, so you can see they actually generate some of these bullet points for you. You might want to see whether it is accurate pertaining to your products, right? Then you use it. Right now we assume that this is all good, right? Then you gotta upload a image. All right, let's see if I have anything to upload. Oh, okay, I have this. Okay, I'm just gonna upload like a random image, okay? So you need to have at least one image before you can save it. All right, so if you do not have an image, you won't be able to save it. So you need to have at least one main image. Then after that, if you want to have multiple, which is what we call the alternate image, right, then you can just add it in, and then you can shift it around, right, or you can delete it if you think it's not relevant anymore. All right. So there is a style guide here. You can also look at it if you need some guidance. Right, then you click on submit. So I don't think submission will went through because you see there's a lot of the exclamation mark on top. But don't worry, it won't let you submit also. It will do a check. Where you can see when I click submit, it said there are 30 more items that require attention. Right, so when I click OK, you'll bring me to the next tab that I need to fill in all this information. Right now, obviously, all this information is something that the AI, so-called the auto listing generator, cannot do. You need to fill it up yourself. Huh? Okay, I'm just hope that I can fill up something. Right, if it's really irrelevant, you can put here that is irrelevant. Alright, so I'm just gonna make it simple here. Okay, I'll just try to put in the compulsory one first to show you the example. Okay, I don't know whether it let me go through. Okay. Let's see. Ten. Okay, I don't know, 3 inch. 3 inch. Okay, let's see. Alright, so you have an option to skip entering these, right? Because you might be perhaps assessing how much inventory you have, etc. You can skip this. Then you have to enter it later because it will be inactive, but I'm just going to try to enter this. Right, so this is your price or how much you're going to sell this item. All right, so let's sell new item. So again, you can see for used item, it's not very applicable depending on what you're selling. You might need to go through certain verification and check before you are allowed to sell used or second item. So generally, we are all selling new items. Okay. Right. So list price, you can just put the same. All right. So this is the part, the fulfillment channel. You will select depending on your fulfillment option. All right, if you're going to ship it yourself, now take into consideration that your customer is going to be in for example, in this case, like the US. Are you able to ship it, to the US yourself? If you already have some shipping partner in the US to help you fulfill, that's fine. But most of us, since we are not in the US, we'll likely utilize the fulfillment by Amazon. Yeah. Right. So if you're gonna select fulfillment by Amazon, the listing will not be active, until the Amazon receive your products in the fulfillment center. Right. Now the rest is the item package information. How the dimension is like when it's packed. Just gonna put an example here. Oops, this is so. Okay, so don't follow me. If you're gonna do your own listing, make sure you put this packaging correctly, okay? Because this is gonna determine your size, whether is it a bulky items or whether is it a small item, etc. So you gotta make sure that you put in this information accurately, right? Right. So if you're getting some supplier, you can actually tell them, get it from them, from your factory supplier. They definitely know what's the dimension. Okay, let me see. Okay, I still have 3 items. Well, it depends on where your country of origin is. Okay, funnily, I don't know why they asked about battery, but no. Alright, this is not applicable. Alright, this is not dangerous goods. Right. Alright, so you see, they will tell me there are some other issues I need to fix it. Let me go to port identity. You see, they actually check through my image. So I think the last time round it wasn't that intelligent, but now you see, they actually check through. They say that the title and the image are provided, right? Doesn't seems to be the same product. Right, so let me see. Let me go back to the image. Right, right. Let me replace image. Right. I grab this portal image. Okay, I'm gonna delete this. Right. Let's see if I managed to get past the checks. Alright, thankfully. So you can see there's a lot of checks back end during the product listing. Right, so assuming you've done everything correctly, this you will see this pop up that says, oh, okay, your listing is submitted. So there will be further checks on backend to make sure that everything is okay. Whatever you put in is accurate. If you mention something about some claims, you will need to substantiate the claims with supporting document. Let's say if your description you mention things like, oh, this is a certified, I don't know, certified eco-friendly, that kind of stuff. You will need to provide some form of official certification to state that it was indeed certified based on the description you put in there, right? Or if you mention any things that you talk about, oh, this thing can be used for children, again, you will be asked to provide documents to substantiate, like, oh, you mentioned that this thing in the product description that is meant for children. You need to provide a certificate to make sure that it's safe for the children, things like that. So, okay, let me see if there's any question. No question. Okay, now next, just I want to show you how to fix your listing if there's any issue, right? Okay, this one, let me go back to Seller Central, huh? Okay, let's see whether just now our listing got any. Is it live radio? Usually it takes a couple. Not say is it live because I use FBA. I select FBA, so the listing definitely won't be live. All right, but you might be able to see it here once it appears. We can see these are all the test listing. I don't think it appear yet. Right, but I want to show you the listing quality dashboard. Right, so how you get to here? How you get to this page? You go to this menu. All right, you go to manage all inventory. All right, and then you go to this option here, listing quality dashboard. So over here, they will tell you what are the listing that you can further improve. Right, so for example, they detected that I have this listing that I can still improve on. Right, so they're telling me to add on this serving recommendation. All right. Okay, this is a granular bar, etc. All right, so you can put in the serving recommendation. All right, so they also tell you how does this attribute actually helps. Right, so by having this serving recommendation, it will improve the search result because some customers may actually do searches or filtering by the serving recommendation, like one bottle or two teaspoon. Right, so if you do not have these attributes fill up in your listing will not appear when customers specifically search for specific type of the like serving recommendation. Right, so this listing quality dashboard is something that I will encourage everyone to maybe go in like every week or so. Right, so if I'm not wrong, every week the algorithm will run back and to check all the listing to see what else they can recommend you to improve your existing listing that's on your account. All right, right, and then for the different categories. Okay, so there's another one I want to share since we're on this page is that the suppression listing. So over here you can see, right, the second one, search suppress any inactive listing. So this one will tell you all the listing that is being suppressed. Now, for example, you see just now, okay, not just now, I think I created another demo last time, right? It will tell me that it's out of stock, for example. I think the listing we created earlier on is not live yet. But this example I did last time, JL crewneck, right? They'll tell me why is it not active. That's because I have no active quantity. Right? I did not ship in to the warehouse, right? That kind of stuff. So they'll tell you out of stock listing, pricing issue, or they'll tell you what's the description of the issue. You know, they detected a potential pricing error, etc. You can just learn more, or you want to update the price accordingly as well. All right, and this one is the for example, like approval required. These are the things that I mentioned early on. All right, so if you created any listing, any approval, you can come to this page to see. They'll tell you you need approval to list this brand, you know, etc. This kind of info. Yep. Okay, let me go back to the slides. Okay, I saw a question. Cannot sell electronic product also? Yes, you can, but you may need to provide the certification as well, right? So because you're selling into US, they need to know that your product is actually safe for for use in the US, right? So let me just put it here. So the rationale is that let's say in this case you're selling to US, you want to make sure that your product is safe for the customer in the US, so you will need to be asked to provide certification, etc. Right, for electronic, right? So again, some yes, some no. When you list your product, when you mention the product they're gonna list, there'll be check back end to see whether or not they will require you to submit the approval, or rather the approval certification that you get. Alright. Okay, now going to the next one. Let me go to the next one. Right, listing quality. Okay, I think I mentioned already. Okay, so yes, I also share with you the listing suppression just now. Right. Now this is the slide to share what does a suppressed listing means. Right. If you see anything in the page that shows your suppressed listing, meaning that the listing is prevented from being showing up in any of the search results. Alright, so that is because there is something lacking. Either it's not a approved listing, or they are pending certain things, or there's no stock, etc. So anything that is being suppressed will not show up in any of the Amazon search results. Also means that nobody can actually buy your product in that sense. Alright. Okay, so I think I roughly went through a few just now regarding the possibility of listing being suppressed. But these are basically what I mentioned earlier on, actually. All right. And also the valid UPC, which is the what we call the global trade identity number, the GTIN, is also required. Right. So if you try to select something, just now I show you, if you try to select that this item uh, do not have a product ID, and then after the checks backend, then they found out that actually whatever you're selling does require is one of the product category that require product ID, you may also get suppressed as well. Then they will ask you for your valid UPC number. Right. So UPC number, you need to get it from the GS1 officially. Right, don't go and buy it from some random website or somebody sell it to you, because Amazon will check with the GS1 database to make sure that the barcode, GTIN ID, etc. Is registered in the GS1 database, registered to you for the product that you are selling. Right, so sometimes I do hear from some seller that, oh, they bought a ID, product ID somewhere, they try to put it in, and then their listing was suppressed because it's different, right? They may have bought a ID that is for selling, for example, electronic. Then again, their listing is actually selling, for example, like bags, right? So that's not going to work. Alright, so these are the requirements for main image. Because this may result in suppressed listing as well. So just now you can see that when I tried to sell bottle, but I upload the image of a t-shirt, at that point of time they get detected. But sometimes, somehow it may not get detected. Maybe the image are very similar. Maybe I have a t-shirt that has a bottle as a design, and then back then they thought in the first place it might be a bottle. Then you went through. Then after that, you may realize, oh, it gets suppressed again. It could be like image issues, right? Right. So there's a lot of the potential of the image getting suppressed. Right. You can take a look. Right. Last but not least, right, this one is the listing error code. Right. I wouldn't go through a lot on this. You can refer back if you encounter this issue. So this list of code is also in the workbook. Right, more often than not, right, most of the issues will be quite obvious when you do your listing. Like just now I shared with you, they'll tell you, oh, you do not have this thing, you do not have that thing. All right. So there are some other issues that they may pop up like this error code, and it will tell you like, oh, actually, what is the issue? Right. So yeah. So let me see if there's any common ones. The common one is actually the brand one. That is the more common one, I would say. Let me tell you the brand error code, right? Right. These are usually what I see is a very common one that seller usually face. Right. Let me see what 5661. Right. It means that you are trying to put a brand name, for example, like just try to sell like Nike product. Then again, you actually do not have the rights to sell it, so you may sometimes see this error code. All right. Right, and then sometimes things like this, you try to list a generic product actually, but you try to list it as a brand. All right, so you may get this number. Yep. So not to worry about this code. If you do not know how to solve it, you can always contact the seller support. Then they'll be able to access you. All right. This is the brand name policy. I briefly also talked about just now when I created listing. Right. So how do you tell whether or not your product is a brand or non-branded product? All right. So these are the graph. You can tell, does the product has a brand name? So if it has a brand name directly imprinted, on that product itself, then yes, it's considered the product as a brand. Right? If not, then you can use generic. Right? And there's some other error codes. So this is to say, in the event that you really think that your product is really your product that has the brand, but you still get flagged out, right? So what you need to provide to the seller support for them to verify that this is indeed your product, with the brand. So this is what you need to do. When you contact the seller support, or tell them the brand name, and then you take a photo of your product that has the permanent brand logo. Right, so it is not a sticker. You cannot use like paste a sticker there for your brand and say that this is your brand. You can't do that. It has to be shown like a permanent brand logo. Right, so it doesn't have to be like your ASIN level quality means it need not be like a main image, right? It can be taken with your phone camera, good quality picture that shows the product in its real actual state. Right. So this is also actually a similar process when you are registering for your brand registry using your trademark. You will also need to submit this kind of information to verify that the brand that you want to enroll does has indeed a real actual product with this brand. Alright, so if you're using bulk outlook, etc., right, you will need to provide them your batch ID of your inventory file to process for them to check what is exactly the issue that they have with your listing. So this is just to share. Again, I have something regarding account health. It's also very important. Right, so if you get a listing removal, let's say your listing got removed, what you need to do. Right, I hope you all don't get to this stage, because it could mean that your listing have a serious issue that it actually got removed immediately. Right, it could be like somebody may have reported you. For example, you might be selling a brand item that you have no authority to sell. That person or that seller may have reported you, etc. Right, but then again, there might be some cases. Right, then you can do this, submit an appeal, go to the account health, right, and then provide all the information. It's a form based kind of support. Just key in all the information they ask from you and then upload any documents, right, and then you'll know. Usually within 48 to 72 hours, they'll let you know what is the appeal outcome, and then you can decide whether it's a valid one or you want to reappeal. Again, just make sure that you don't submit multiple appeal of the same thing. That will actually delay the reviewing process. Okay. Right. So very common issues are like infringement, or if you got into like infringement somehow, like patent, copyright, all this, right? It's very hard to remove the removers. Right. All right. So that's the end of the day of this session. So I have more time to go through the Q&A, but right now I just want to share with you what is the key takeaway today. Right, so today you would have learned, how to create a listing, understand what are the different part of the listing, how you can kind of troubleshoot yourself if you encounter any issue, just follow through. the guide, and then leverage the AI feature to help you quickly generate all the information for your listing, and then make sure you review it before you submit. All right. And then how you can resolve the listing issue. There are some common suppression reasons, and then what are the so-called the error codes that you might see, right? And then some of the tools that I share, the listing quality dashboards. All right, so compliance reference tool you can refer to in the workbook. I think in the workbook they talk about compliance reference tool. Right, so that is basically giving you a guide on what could be the compliance documents needed. It's like a drop down. You select what you're selling, what category, and then they'll tell you, okay, what are the documents that is required. Right. Right, we have some other webinars coming up just to share with you if you have not known yet. And then this is the same QR code I have on my background image as well. Okay. All right, I'm going to go through the live Q&A. Huh?